Miyasu centre back, Ben White right and centre mid, this and that and the other. Smith Rowe can do this, Tavares can do that, Tierney can do that. I hear it. I think we can, but let's just keep it. Let's just stick to the basics a bit. Word to Fabian Delp for now, innit, people, and then see where it could take us. Away from that, though, if we talk about Arsenal versus Watford from a tactical review, Watford tactical review. Yeah, man. I'll share the screen in a second, but if we look at it from a tactical review, obviously for me, people, I like for me, just generally, I like the togetherness. You know, it's shown that we can do it. We've seen the good, bad, and the ugly this season. Forgive yourselves for the start of the season. Pat yourselves on the back for where we are, but know that we've not achieved anything. We're 0 for goal difference, and that sums up what I've been saying. We're in break-even territory. We've chased back our L's. We're doing all right. There's a lot of football to be played. Keep doing what you're doing well. Keep behaving like you know. Keep moving like when we won our first game in this turnaround. Keep moving like you ain't achieved nothing, and then we can see what's going on. Man said Ramsdale in midfield. To be honest, he can ping a ball. You're right. So I like the togetherness. I like the desire. I like that it weren't a pretty game. It weren't a nice game with Watford. You know, probably should have scored more, excluding Aubameyang moving mad and all these things, created more and all these things. But we, you know, considering we're missing key players, we grinded it out. I liked how we didn't let the signs of adversity define us. You know, the missed penalty, the VAR for Saka, these things where, as an Arsenal fan, I'm not going to lie, at points you're thinking this ain't going to be your day. This team will probably get one opportunity, go up the other end of the field and bag. But it wasn't to be that. So I did like it. You know, Ainsley had a good performance. I won't say laid down a marker, but you've shown Arteta that you can do a thing, as was Tavares. I think Ben White was very good on the ball, and we did have to overcompensate because of our midfield, in my opinion. So yeah, man, game management needs to improve. There was a couple of near misses, you know, Ramsdale's, Smith Rowe in the middle of the park, Lokonga in the middle of the park. One day these things are gonna come to harm us. So we need to make sure we're switched on in that regards, people. Obviously we need a progressive midfielder because we still didn't score enough. We still didn't break down the low block to the velocity as we could. Yeah, to be fair to Watford, they were rigid. They matched our system in a 4-4-2. They were quite narrow, quite compact. You know, they looked like they could threaten on the counter attack. Away from that, it is what it is. Before I share screen, people, just quick Ben White praise. He had the most touches, most passes, most clearances, most blocks, and most interceptions on the field, and a number of mazy runs. Maybe that's why we paid 50 million for him, people. What do you think about Sky Sports giving Ainsley man of the match? You know, they're quite dodgy with their man of the matches, but they did all right. They're in it. Deserved candidate. If not him, Smith Rowe scored, but I wouldn't give it to him. I'd probably say Ben White or Tavares for me personally. Now, if I share my screen, people, obviously, I don't know if this 4-4-2 is ever going to work against other teams. But as you can see here, we did our 4-4-2. We did mix it up a bit. Naturally, you know, Lacazette is going to drop and you're going to see something along them lines. Smith Rowe, as you know, is going to be narrow. Tavares is going to venture forward. Our line is going to get slightly higher. Tomiyasu is going to tuck in. Saka has to come quite short. And I'm not going to lie, I know Tomiyasu isn't that, and I'm judging the man on what he's built for, but I need him to, against Watford, again, if I just to make it make sense, I need some Watford players just to make it look like it makes a bit sense. You know, I don't think he gets around Saka enough. Like, I don't think he gets around. When you get around someone, you might take the left back with you. Do you get it? And then that obviously frees up my man. I think too many times Tomiyasu wants to underlap, and that's him. You know, that's him. He can improve going forward, but that's him. That's the right back he clearly is. That's why I'm looking at Arteta, because Saka, for me, at times, he's receiving the ball in areas where, you know, he needs that runner, or he's in congested space, or he's getting it off the halfway line in areas can't really affect the game. But generally, we did all right. If I put everyone back for a second, people, just to talk about the progressiveness, one thing that we need to improve as well. Sorry for not putting the names down as well, people. I did a live stream on Twitch and it completely went over my head to do this. Hit the like button if you haven't, people. So yeah, going back, obviously in reality, when we have the ball, people, like, let me go with Ramsdale. Let's go with Ramsdale here. Just put everybody back. Why didn't I put everyone back? Just make it look a bit better. Where I think our problem is because respectfully, our midfielders, they didn't do bad. There was a couple of occasions they played it forward, but these guys are not expansive passers. So obviously, when players started, and obviously, you know, you're seeing Watford very narrow, you know, very compact. Again, sorry for it not being as pretty as it could be, people, but I'm just trying to preach home the point. Very narrow, very rigid, very regiment, you know. You want Saka to kind of be up here. You want Smith Rowe to do it. You want Tavares to be where he's doing it. And obviously you have the strikers as well, you know, pressing. I don't think either midfielder too many times, you know, Lokonga was showing, but Lokonga can't turn and spray them passes. That's not him. He's a 6, no matter what he says. So often than not, he could do it, but he's playing it backwards and whatnot. And that's helping out them keep the shape. Ainsley was slightly further ahead of him. He was probably, for me, the guy that was in charge of that. But even him, there's not too many times. So naturally, a byproduct of that, obviously, if you can't get the ball higher up the field, Smith Rowe is going to want to come into areas. Lacazette is going to want to come into areas. Saka is going to want to come into areas. Aubameyang is going to drop. So then, obviously, that's going to make our progressive passing harder. And by the time we get to the opposition's box, as you saw, you know, we did score, but we're not going to break them down. You know, we're not going to break them down. They're just going to sit in front, you know, be difficult to break. Claudio Ranieri, Italian side, you're not going to move to them like that. And that's where we had our problems. We could not break them down, people. We couldn't break down this low block. That's why we need progressive midfielders. I don't need to carry on with that because you understand it, people. Please hit the like button. Away from that, though, well, that's our shape. I see it's been up too early, people. I didn't even know I did that. But that was what you saw our shape away from a 4-4-2 somewhat. Lacazette is slightly deeper. You had Lokonga probably being there. Ainsley was slightly forward in possession. Smith Rowe at times had the license to go where he wanted to be narrow. Tavares going forward. Saka, for me, I'm not really I think we need a lot more on that right-hand side with going forward, but it is what it is. Gabriel and Ben White, as you saw, they were Ben White in particular was having to go on these mad ventures forward because our midfield is not there. So he's having to venture forward. And I did like how we had to overcompensate. It's not no disrespect to Ainsley or Lokonga. They're not that. But this is why we need one. So it is what it is. Obviously, the goal, which is the conscientious moment now, build up play, sustained a bit of pressure. You know, they deal with the chance. You know, Sar's body checked by Maitland now. All he runs into Ainsley, which I believe. Obviously, Ben White snatches it, you know, and then goes on a venture forward. Eventually, he stopped. Smith Rowe's behind him. Just put him here. And then obviously he smacked it in. So it weren't the prettiest of goals, but that's the goal we scored. It's nice that we kept going. But like I said, I like how Ben White was overcompensating. And he went on a number of couple dribbles, really. You know, maybe that's why he was brought in it. So it's one of them. That's their shape, so I don't need to carry on with that. But yeah, like I said, it weren't the prettiest game. We did what we needed to do. I did think in the second half, Arteta needs to react quicker when there's clearly tired legs. Like Saka looked knackered, Lokonga's standards are dropping, Smith Rowe at times is losing the ball cheaply in midfield. So I do think we need to stop them things happening before it happens. And for the players, it's about managing the game a bit better. But obviously for the club, as we look to go forward, that should also be said. So in relation to my tactical review, it's one of the shortest of the season because there actually is not too much to be said. Obviously, penalties, VAR, don't know why it's involved, but it is what it is. We got away with the victory in this game in particular. What are you lot saying? I hear Tomiyasu was brought in for defending, but I don't rate him. It's not that I don't rate him. I just think he's very meaty at some aspects of the game. Saka is beginning to be a bit lazy tracking back, or is it just because he trusts Tomiyasu? I think he's getting a bit tired in games. I wouldn't say he's lazy. First half, he was getting back. I would give it Ainsley Maitland now. As he came in after not getting the starting ages, is well deserved. I hear that, but for me, Partey's fit. You play, bro. Partey, Lokonga, you man are the ones for Liverpool. Ainsley Maitland. Oh, you're talking about man of the match. Ainsley solid, but I would have given it Ben White. Ben White, Tavares, Ainsley for me. I think Ben White did very good. I think Ainsley didn't expect you to put in that level of performance. I think Tavares from the start looked like he was on this thing as well. This run reminds me of Emre's 22 beaten streak. I see a lot of warning signs, especially Arteta's naivety. There are warning signs. We're not all the way there yet. It is what it is. Arsenal need a long ball specialist in midfield, someone who can look up and ping to 30 yards. Only man that can do that currently is Xhaka. Exactly. You know, Ainsley Maitland Niles can do that and Lokonga, but it's sporadically. It's not you can get out your feet 10 times a half and do it. You're not going to see that too many times. We take the goal as they come, but Arsenal, I don't care how we win, who scores, just as long as you do it. So it is what it is. We live to fight another day. Simple as that. And who doesn't want to do that, people? Keep your opinions, talking points, and whatnot coming. Moving away from